Alright then. Replays barely started working in time. I very nearly wasn't able to cast tonight because I'm not exactly going to pay for access to a whole nother set of tournament replays for one night's worth of casting, but just in time I was able to download this fantastic series between Fnatic and No Tidehunter. I presume it'll be a fantastic series because those are some amazing teams. This is Hippie, here with Premier League replay casts. Let's get started. See how the draft goes. Darkseer first ban from Fnatic.
Radiant team ban.
Kind of tells you they don't want to have to play against a turtling lineup, or maybe they're trying to ban him out so they can sneak Coddle through the banning phase. If they ban Nyx and or Batrider here, then No Tidehunter will most likely ban the other one and sneak them Coddle. But then again, Coddle is so good in the hands of Fnatic that a lot of teams really aren't that willing to let him sneak through the banning phase. They'd rather give them other heroes because of Fnatic's incredible talent playing global strategies. I know I say that every single time they're here, but it's worth repeating. Fnatic is playing with a stand-in tagged up as N. I don't know if that's Cinderin. I believe they were playing with Cinderin fairly recently, so it could be him again. But I'm just going to be calling him N, because I'm not really sure, and I don't want to attribute a known player's name to someone that I'm not quite sure who it is. And then NTH, of course, has picked up EGM to replace Eternal Envy. Filled that out, and they still have S4 drafting for them. And hey, they've been making things happen ever since that shift. Not to say Eternal Envy is a bad guy, but maybe there was kind of a lack of chemistry there. Maybe there was something that just wasn't quite working out. But NTH has been putting up results lately, whereas they were kind of falling a little before that shift. Again, Eternal Envy is a fantastic player and was a great drafter, but sometimes, if one player just isn't quite fitting into the lineup, it doesn't matter how good they are, you need to get someone else instead. And Envy was super, super cool about being dropped. I mean, he was quite happy. Well, not happy, but quite understanding. NDH, I think, debating if they want... Ooh, Lifestealer. Okay, so they're going to sneak in both the Coddle and the Batrider into the drafting phase. So Fnatic wants to pick up the Coddle, as I would kind of expect them to. But then again, Batrider is so good, you don't want to let someone else have Batrider. He can just destroy a lane if he need, like, pretty much any lane you put him in if he's in 1v1. But no, Fnatic is going to pick up Keeper of the Light, simply because they're Fnatic and they love global presence. That's that for them. We'll see who else they come out with on top of that. The Wisp obviously being banned out. We've seen some Wisps kind of recently, or at least saw Wisp in the last series I casted. We remembered why Wisp gets banned, didn't we? Pretty brutal stuff. NTH going to take their time. I would be looking at maybe a Magnus and a Batrider, but that kind of locks your lanes. Well, no, Bat doesn't have to 1v1 offlane or safe lane. He can go hang out in the jungle. You can pick another offlaner, but at the very least, especially since they're on Radiant, and they don't have that kind of tricky ability to throw mag into the jungle in that sneaky little cliff spot, if they picked a mag, that's pretty much saying, we're running a mag mid, please counter pick him. And if they don't also pick the... Okay, I was going to say, if they don't also pick the Batrider with a mag, then they're just going to get shredded. I would expect a Gyrocopter right here. No, they're going to pick up the Lone Druid for Admiral Bulldog. Don't want Fnatic to get their hands on that. Take it away from him. Bulldog, of course, a legendary Lone Druid player. I forget who it was, but there was a pro player who was talking about how he'd scrimmed against No Tidehunter quite a lot. It might have been Winter when he was working with LD over at Beyond the Summit. And he said, basically, whenever we scrim No Tidehunter, if we don't ban Lone Druid and Bounty Hunter, we do a lot worse than if we do ban those two heroes, so that Bulldog doesn't have access to either of them. See how many first hit entangles he gets this game. Because you know the rule of a well-known Lone Druid player is that the first hit always entangles. It's simple. I mean, it's just the bear recognizes when that kind of caliber of player is controlling him and says, alright, I guess I'll entangle him for you. Shadow Demon going to be the next pickup from Fnatic, not surprising. So that's a very, very strong defensive tri-lane. Would not be surprised to see a Phantom Lancer as the third pick, as they've not only taken out one of the good counter picks, but also picked two heroes that lane insanely well with Phantom Lancer. Yes, no, maybe. No Tail taking his time. No Tail in the drafting spot. And I guess with Fly out, I mean, I guess they do need another drafter. Interesting. Maybe he'll draft Meepo and we'll have the greatest game. Oh, they're going to pick up the Gyrocopter. Alright. Totally okay with that. Gyrocopter, obviously an amazing, amazing hero. Does a lot for your mid-game, a lot more than the Phantom Lancer does, unless he gets some really fast farm. Although, most teams, because the defensive tri-lane you put on a Phantom Lancer is usually so good, generally, a lot of teams will just kind of let him farm. They're not willing to contest it most of the time unless they have an exceptionally strong aggressive try.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
NTH, I would want them to pick up a support here so that they're not really locked in. They can't just get all the good supports banned out against them, so they're not stuck kind of, oh, you know, we have a carry, the Lone Druid, and we have Batrider in the mid lane. You'd presume Batrider's going mid unless they pick a different mid right now. But, again, he can be thrown in the jungle. He can be thrown 1v1 safe lane or off lane. Chen being picked up. Alright, so Batrider will probably not be in the jungle. So, mid Batrider, most likely off lane Lone Druid. Magnus going to be banned out. Fnatic not wanting a single bit of that. Too much teamfight power. They could have taken it themselves, but I guess they feel they're not particularly interested in having him in the mid lane. It's possible also that the Gyrocopter is mid. That's the nice thing about the Gyro, is picking him. I mean, so if you have two supports and you pick a Gyro, you've basically revealed nothing more about your lineup except that it happens to have a Gyrocopter in it. So if they want to pick specifically against the Gyrocopter, that's fine, but you can kind of work him into a lot of different lanes to make sure that if they try to pick specifically to stop a tri-lane Gyrocopter, or to go against that, you don't have to put him in a tri-lane, you just put him mid. If they pick against a mid Gyrocopter, oh look, you threw him in the tri-lane, etc., etc. One of the very nice things about very versatile heroes, and one of the reasons they really get picked so much, is that you can pick them early without having your opponents just have then 2 or 3 picks and a bunch of bans with which to counter your lineup.
Radiant team ban.
No Tidehunter not wanting to deal with the tricksy nature's prophet. Don't want to deal with the extra global presence that he brings to the table. And Fnatic very quickly saying, we do not want a void. Just stay away from us with your chrono bubble, with your bashes, with everything you have on that hero. NTH, who should they ban out? I mean, so they're banning out, I think offlaners are really the safest thing you can ban out to make sure that your bans are effective right here, just like they just did with the Nature's Prophet. Gyro offlane is not really a thing. Gyro 1v3 is not really a thing. He's kind of too easy to gank for that. He's got decent move speed, but on top of that, God, I could be lying about that. I'm fairly sure he has decent move speed. I could be totally crazy. But you can also, if you find yourself in trouble as Gyrocopter, you get some quick tranquils so you can get out of the way. You can get good farm and harass off with flat cannon. And it makes him actually reasonably okay in a 1v3, assuming he's not going to get ganked, but then a pro team will just drop ganks on him. And he's in trouble. No real escape mechanism being the main problem there. Earthshaker banned out by NTH, followed by a Luna ban out for Fnatic. Banning out a lot of Loda's favorite heroes there, in the Luna and the Faithless Void. And they've already taken the Gyrocopter, who... NTH actually kinda, sorta... They're one of the only teams to really still run consistently a support Gyro. They give it to Ake. But at the same time, the threat of Loda on a Gyrocopter is not something you can really discount. He plays it very well. Puck going to be the last ban out for NTH. So they're pretty sure that they can get away with... You know, that Earthshaker ban out is actually really weird to me. Just because, unless you're expecting like a Shadow Demon mid, or you're expecting maybe a Gyrocopter mid, a safe lane solo farmer, and an aggressive try from Fnatic, Coddle, Shadow Demon, Earthshaker. But that's just, that whole decision is really odd to me.
10 seconds remaining.
I guess we'll have to see what they want to... Not to say that he's a bad hero, and there's the Phantom Lancer, so it is going to most likely be defensive try right there. They let that sneak through because they weren't afraid, and that's what I said, you know, the Gyrocopter can go anywhere. That isn't necessarily Fnatic's tri-lane they have right here, and bam, they pick up a Phantom Lancer to finish out their tri-lane. So rare for PL to make it through to the second phase, especially when a Coddle has already been picked up. That's quite unusual. maybe an oversight from NTH's part. I really think that Earthshaker ban
10
could have been better
seconds
used on the
remaining.
Phantom Lancer.
5
See if that comes back to bite them
remaining.
later in the game. There's some very strong push coming out already from No Tidehunter in the first 3 picks. Want to see if they kind of go all in with that. They have Lone Druid and Chen, so they can bring down towers really, really quickly. They could do a Lone Druid tri-lane, like we saw
10
in,
seconds remaining.
I believe it was Fnatic that did that with the Chen and
5
the Lone Druid.
seconds remaining.
I'm trying to remember which series that
Shadow
was,
Shaman.
who played it. Shadow Shaman, okay, that's
Fire team
that's a very strong pushing support. So I'm wondering if this is going to be a pushing sort of tri-lane with the Lone Druid, the Chen, the Shadow Shaman, and they're going to be looking for another offlaner. Shadow Shaman we don't see a whole lot, but he's got a fairly versatile set of abilities and a good amount of power within them. Aside from having double disables, even though one of them is channeled, simply having 2 disables, non-ultimate, in your skill set is really powerful. There's very
10
few heroes that
seconds
have that.
remaining.
And honestly, the rest of their skill sets are kind of so weak they don't get picked up as
5
often.
seconds
But
remaining.
Shadow Shaman also has, the nice cone nuke coming out of the lightning, and of course the Serpent Wards, which are
Radiant team
okay. So mid Gyrocopter, solo safe lane Phantom Lancer, and Shadow Demon Caudal Alchemist tri-lane. Did not see that coming. That is something I did not see Fnatic going for. That, I assume that's going to be an aggressive try, because that's an incredibly good aggressive try. Basically, start charging the Alchemist concoction. You, wow, I'm
remaining.
tripping over words. Sorry, I'll get better as we go. You disrupt them with the Shadow Demon, so they have, Phantom Assassin picked up? Oh my... This is just odd. Phantom Assassin, not a usual pickup. Anyway, real quick, finishing that combo. Unstable Concoction, disrupt them so that it has time to charge up. You charge up the Keeper of the Light Nuke to hit them just as they're coming out of the disruption. Then you hit them with the Unstable Concoction. It does plenty of damage because you've had time to charge it. It stuns them for a while, and then they just die. Especially if they have a Soul Catcher on them on top of all that. But I'm really interested to see how NTH decides to lane this, because maybe they want to put the PA solo against the PL. Maybe they think she'll do okay up there. Without the Caudal infinite mana reserve for the PL, he won't be able to put on nearly as much harassment with that Lance. So PA might actually be able to farm okay against him. I'm not sure. They might still just go the, they might put the Lone Druid in the long lane and put the PA in the safe lane. Try to get her farmed up, and then just try to make the push happen in the mid-game instead of just having that be kind of a pushing lane. They're thinking about right now what they want to do. Obviously they put Bulldog on the Lone Druid. And now I don't have spectator chat turned on, but, or actually it's not even an option right there. That's really irritating. What happened to my option to turn on and off spectator chat? Anyway, one of the convenient things we can do is blitz right through this this nice early game here, or this nice early game pause, excuse me, and there we go. And very quickly, let's run through the lineups. We have No Tail playing the Keeper of the Light, Hani on the Phantom Lancer, Era going to be on the Alchemist, the stand-in N going to be on the Shadow Demon, and Trixie going to be right there for us on the Gyrocopter. Going over to No Tidehunter, S4 going to be playing the Bat Riders, that's going to be a mid-rider. Ake going to be playing the Chen, no surprise there. EGM going to be on the Shadow Shaman, Admiral Bulldog on the Lone Druid, and Loda going to be playing that farming Phantom Assassin. So, looks like these teams might actually meet each other in the Radiant Jungle, some kind of inching around the tree line coming right here. Fnatic not wanting to dive right in, except, a couple of their people do just come right in. Check. And now here they go. They're going to come around down by the medium camp. They're going to see Ake. I think he's seen them all. And NTH doesn't want to engage this. They don't think they have the early game power, especially against that Caudal nuke, especially against that Rocket Barrage if Trixie gets in range for it. So lots of camps being warded up right here. Make sure that the jungle is no place for Chen to be able to work. Boom, more and more wards being thrown down. Although, Ake already dropping a sentry. He knew this was coming. Are they going to catch him? No, he's got to see them with that the limited vision from that sentry ward. He's going to get out and get right under his tower. So he does manage to quickly counter one ward that would be blocking the pole right around here, which is very, very nice for him, actually. We'll have to see how this aggressive try ends
Got a
up working
feeling
out
this is gonna be
for
good.
Fnatic. It's an incredibly powerful aggressive try lane. I should really have that close. I kind of hope it works out for them, just because I really love seeing it, and I admittedly am a Fnatic fanboy. I really love seeing them win. But, no bias in the casting. None at all. Posturing going on in the jungle. Another ward being dropped down. They know that one of the sentries has already been burned, so they know that Ake doesn't have what he needs to counter another ward. Therefore, they can just drop a second ward, and since they know what position it is most likely in, they can get away with it. Already a little bit of a pressure coming out here. They have thrown Hani mid on the Phantom Lancer, and they're going to be solo safe laning the Gyrocopter, it appears. So Gyro versus... Alright, yeah, I can get behind that. Gyro versus Lone Druid. I can see the Gyro doing quite well in that situation. 6 stacks! Really, Hani? You're letting this happen? I mean, that's really dangerous. It's... More than 2 or 3 stacks is just insanely deadly. Look at the damage from that Flame Break. It's half his life. Look at how much damage each attack does. Oh, S4. Man up. Man up. No, he would have died. I mean, that was a totally valid retreat right there with how many hit points the tower was taking out of him with each swing. Does he have a salve? No, he doesn't. Maybe he's getting it brought out to him, or is he getting his early bottle? Yeah, he's already got his bottle coming out. Check out the glowy lights behind Baby Roshan. Golden Baby Roshan. Down here in the Tri-v-Tri, which is where we should see a lot of the action happening. There's the disruption coming out, the concoction being charged, and blinks out to just after the Coddle Blast. So the Phantom Assassin blink actually a nice way to get out of this this aggressive try. But she's got to be a little bit careful. I mean, if she can just get nuked down by all of those, she can't really be particularly willing to farm if she's not at full health. You saw what big chunks just all those nukes took out of Loda right there. So he still has to be particularly careful laning against this, even if he has that blink to fall back on, just because of the amazing amount of nuke potential that comes out of it, and because the blink does not disjoint that Alchemist concoction. As it is, with Bulldog actually getting 11. Oh, I heard another disruption go off just as I was leaving. Loda taking damage there, and another nuke comes out, and he takes the stun onto EGM as well every time he blinks to him. And look, Loda almost out of regen already. He's got to have... Alright, EGM sitting on a salve as well, which is going to be used up right now. But yeah, Loda burning through all his mana, trying to both last hit and get these blinks off all the time. He's got enough mana for maybe 2 more... Oh, S4. S4 manning up in the top lane, going straight in through the trees. One of the big advantages of Firefly is your ability to get past those trees. And with the Haste Rune, obviously Gyro doesn't really have a chance against that. Even with the dive, as long as Batrider's careful not to pull tower aggro and be, you know, right-clicking towers all over the place, he's going to be fine with that dive every time. Posturing going on in the jungle here. Wards dropped, so Ake, they know exactly where he is pretty much all the time, because he's either hanging out in their vision over here, where they have the Shadow Demon hanging out and preventing him from coming in the side. I love that Jakiro ward. Just saying. So they either have, you know, some vision in here because Shadow Demon is over there, or he's back here by these wards that are spotting out. You have both the ward that's designed to counter both of these camps. I think the Wildling Wings had already spawned before that got dropped, so we'll see if it actually got placed perfectly to prevent that. Or, oh, Lone Druid picking off Gyro again, but picking off Gyro solo. That had to just be a misplay from Gyro. I mean, you get the Orb of Venom on him and everything, and he swings for 53, so it's not insignificant. Maybe he got a lucky root, but man, that is really unfortunate for Trixie. 2 early deaths on this Gyrocopter, really going to slow him down. He has his Tranquils, so he can be very stable in lane. He's not going to get, harassed out, but any chance to go on him, it doesn't really have the hit points to do a lot about it. S4 just coming back to the mid lane, trying to take back some control. Phantom Lancer farming pretty darn well. He's 20-4 up against... He's pretty much tied with the Batrider, and he's sitting about even with Admiral Bulldog up top as well. But the kill and the assist on Bulldog going to give him a little bit of an advantage. Shadow Demon throwing off some Shadow Poison. So many shadows. There's a Shadow Shaman, too. Oh, God. Now all we need is a Shadow Priest. And we'll just have, you know, a game of shadows. Wasn't that the Sherlock Holmes movie? I think it was. The second one. Anyway, getting back to things that matter. Era is farming reasonably well, 17-3, but PA is also farming perfectly well, sitting in a comfortable 19-4. So no one's really like standout dominating this farm race, but if actually if things go really even on the farm race, I have to give the advantage to Fnatic because they have someone with really good carry potential in every single lane, and also of course Era, as if he starts getting levels into that Greedle's Greed, every single last hit is just more valuable to him than it is to everyone else. Looks like that Wild Wing has now been dominated and is being used to harass the heck out of that lane because, gosh, those tornadoes are annoying. The slow, the DPS, they can be very painful. Another nuke coming out, trying to finish him off. Another Shadow Poison, gonna tick him so close, 30 HP. But not gonna take him, and he'll be able to... I guess he's not really going to regen much at all, and he just dies as I believe Ake just grabbed another creep. And yeah, he did actually counter the Magic Bush Ward. Still has not countered this one, so the pole camp is still out of play. But at the same time, it's not like the creeps are getting particularly pushed up around this region or anything, because Fnatic is being so aggressive that they're generally staying quite close to the NTH's tower anyway. Dropping back to the mid lane. How's Hani doing on his farm? Just boots and, what's he got on the courier? It's his bottle going back. Just crowing that.
Yeah!
Batrider, stacking up that napalm, as usual. If you play Batrider, you better be using sticky napalm. It's pretty darn incredible. Yeah, Hani being forced to kind of sit back and just spam lances for last hits at the moment now. He's starting to fall behind 25-4 against the 35-7 Batrider. He has to be really afraid now that S4's got some levels, especially because he's got that lasso. It looks like we do have Chen coming in here to pick off the Alchemist and the Shadow Demon. That's 2 kills in a tri-lane that's... It's certainly not a bad tri-lane, but with a Phantom Assassin, she's okay in the early game. It's not like she's kind of lane cancer like a Spectre is, where you're just assuming you're going to lose the lane. But it's not like she's particularly amazing. I mean, even with the coup de grace, which I'm not even sure she had, that's still, you're relying on a kind of a 15% crit to get any sort of damage out off of her in the early game. And, well, I don't know if it was luck or if it was just an overplay from Fnatic or just really excellent play from NTH, but they've come away from a Triverse try with, I mean, a Triverse try that they really should have lost with a kill now, and with PA farming quite well. And so that actually puts Fnatic in a really dangerous position. They're currently just losing all 3 of their lanes. Well, looks like we do have a gank up top coming in from Era onto Bulldog. Gonna pick off Bulldog just before Trixie gets brought down by that bear. In the ground. I think he might have killed the bear for the 100 gold, and the backblast damage actually killed the... Because I thought I saw the 100 gold pop up on the bear for Trixie, and then him getting the kill instead of Era leads me to believe that that's what he killed the Lone Druid with, which is impressive. Oh, no tail, buddy. Gets slowed and crit. The damage just coming out. I don't know what Load is doing. Like, kind of... That was a little weird. I think he was trying to force a crit. Basically, a lot of stuff, you can kind of... If you attack and then stop, you can often hear the, because it rolls at the beginning of the attack for whether or not it's going to be a crit. So people who have, like, these really blatant crit animations and really loud crit noises, you can actually stop cancel your attack, so you don't have to waste the time on the front swing waiting for it to be a crit. But at the same time, in the amount of time he was doing that, he probably could have just killed him, so I'm not sure it was worth it. But that's just an interesting little mechanic for those of you who didn't know about it. Was actually really overpowered in Dota 1 with a removed hero. But oh, damage coming out. That Caudal Blast hitting so hard. Shadow Shaman nuke finishing off the Shadow Demon. It looked like they were going to pick off the Batrider, but no. So that was, I think, a 2v3 situation, and NTH coming out ahead. They're playing really, really well and just kind of dominating this laning phase beyond belief right here. And that's bad news for Fnatic, because they basically set up lanes where they had to win them to do particularly well. The only lane where they probably could have gone about even and not cared too much is the Phantom Lancer, because he's just going to retreat and start farming for most of the mid game anyway, try and get his gear up. But now he's really behind. He's died a couple times, or excuse me, he's died once, but his farm is not particularly impressive. The Alchemist Shadow Demon Keeper of the Light aggressive tri-lane, which is a very strong aggressive tri-lane, didn't get anything done. The blink from Lodo prevented them from getting any kills. And then the fact that PA got a kill down there is just dangerous, especially because all of the mid-game push that's going to come out from the Lone Druid, from the Chen, from the Shadow Shaman. It makes it so that NTH can really pressure, well, they already have an experience advantage from winning the lanes, and a gold advantage, and they can really roll that gold advantage up like crazy with the amount of pushing they're going to be able to get done. Even against a Keeper of the Light, I feel. Nice Hand of God to prevent that, that Hellbear from going down. Ake really wanted to keep that creep alive. Probably the single most damaging creep, especially if you have a single Centaur Con for the aura. The Centaur Con aura being 15 attack speed, for those of you who are unaware. So it gives a little boost to all of your pushing efforts. Not as good as having Inner Beast on the Beastmaster, obviously, but still perfectly good and quite a useful little tool. Pressure being put on Hani, it looks like. They may want to engage on him, but he does see what's coming. He has a Ward Watch and Ake right there. And it's not like Ake has a Troll Warlord, so he won't be able to get a net down. He does have some dust if they do decide to go in. But Hani, obviously, like I said, sees him playing nice and safe. Not going to let Ake catch him off this. No Tail, just trying to get some golden experience mid lane. Keep it pushed back, prevent them from losing this mid tower, which is already down to about a third of its life, a little more. Hani does get dusted. They have decided to go in on him, but they don't really have the slow to prevent him from just getting back under his tower, and they're not strong enough to dive him under the tower quite yet. How's Loda doing on items right now? He's already got Tranquil Boots, his Ring of Health, and his Claymore for his Battle Fury. We're going to presume that is, which generally you get as a farm accelerator to let you clear the jungle really quickly and let you clear, you know, lanes really quickly, go back and forth, port around the map, and kind of just get more farm than you otherwise would be able to, since it's accelerating your farm rate. But it has a couple important kind of sub-uses in this particular match. First of all, it's very, very good against Phantom Lancer, especially on PA, 'cause basically if she gets one good cleave crit when she's surrounded by his illusions, she'll take out like half of the illusions right there. And on top of that, when you have a very good pushing team, a Battle Fury to help you push out. Oh, there's an engagement going on here in the top lane. I'll finish that thought in a sec. Era gets entangled, pops his Chemical Rage, though. Very, very hard to bring him down. But I'm not sure they're going to want to chase. Oh, the fire actually goes away. The Acid Spray is hanging out, and now that's gone as well. So all of the area denial abilities are kind of gone. Ake picks off Shadow Demon in the bottom lane, combined with Loda right there. Trixie going to be running away from that bear, not wanting to do anything. Call down goes down. He's going to catch EGM for a good chunk of his health. Quick Hex is going to go off. They are going to dive on Era. He's charging up the stun. Does manage to catch Shadow Shaman just in time. But he looks like he's going to go down. The blinding light from the Condor going to keep him alive just a little bit, but S4 does finish him off. 1-for-1 trade so far. Shadow Shaman for Alchemist, perfectly okay trade, I would say, from NTH's side. S4 going to pour it out, nothing to stop him. The missile has too much of a startup time to stop TPs. One of the real reasons it's not an amazing stun is because you can't actually stop channeling abilities with any sort of reliability with it. And Trixie going to get first hit entangled. You heard what I was talking about at the start of the game? How the bear knows when it's supposed to get those first hit entangles? Admiral Bulldog, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we do have Hani coming up in the rear, though. He's coming in invisible. Quick disruption followed by Soul Catcher on it. EGM takes so much damage so quickly. Does get the wards down. Did he get the trap? He got the trap on No Tail. Going to try to carve his way out, but not going to get it in time. He is going to go down. Bulldog does also go down to Era in the meantime, though, so that's a 2-for-1 trade now. They traded the Coddle, and Hani going to farm up these wards, which is actually quite a bit. 30 to 40 gold per ward, pretty much. It can be a little less than 30, but basically 25 to 40 gold on each one is pretty significant when there's 8 of those sitting around. It's like a full wave of creeps you just handed him, pretty much. In the meantime, though, Loda and Ake pick off this bottom tower. Nothing Fnatic can do about that because they were so thoroughly engaged in the top lane. Anyway, the final point I wanted to make about the Battle Fury, just very quickly, is that it's particularly effective, and look, he's making sure to hold on to his Quelling Blade. He's got his Battle Fury. So 13.5 minute Battle Fury on Loda. Perfectly respectable timing on that, and it's going to help them push so much. Because PA is now a split pusher on her own, just because of that Battle Fury, and how much damage she can put out so quickly. So you have, you know, a Chen you have to worry about, a Shadow Shaman you have to worry about, a Bat Rider who could be ganking you at any time, and then a split pusher and a pair of split pushers basically in Bulldog and Loda both. I'm wondering if Bulldog is going to be going Radiance. No, he's going Armlet for his bear. That's a build we're seeing, I guess, more and more now. It still weirds me out, and I'm not an amazing fan of it, but obviously people like it enough to keep using it. So We'll see. Bulldog, as I've said, pretty darn impressive Syllabear player, so far be it from me to argue with him. S4, just farming up the mid lane, getting himself a little more. Does he have his Blink Dagger yet? He does indeed, and another 1,800 gold on top of it. So he's having an excellent game, sitting on 73 and 10 last hits. How's he doing in net worth? That's a dangerous... Wow! Okay, hold on. I haven't looked at the graphs, but okay, over 5,000 experience, over 7,500 gold. That's huge at 15 minutes, especially when the mid-game push advantage is definitely going to come in favor of NTH. And Fnatic doesn't really have any particularly huge teamfight heroes to try and, you know, maybe take a fight at a tower, stop them from pushing these towers. They have the Gyrocopter call down, but aside from, and I guess the Coddle Nuke, aside from that, they're majorly single target. Alright, Era trying to go and get Bulldog with that stun. He does catch it. The call down going to come out from Trixie. Lots and lots of damage. Hand of God going to try to save him, but just too much coming out. Loda now going in for the return damage. Nice lasso coming out from S4. Trixie definitely going to go down. Loda backing out. Okay, S4 did finish him off. I thought Loda was going to just give that kill away. Nice dagger going to come in, slow down the stand-in right there. Era going to get the stun onto S4. Lance is going to put up a lot of damage. He's just going to go downhill while Shadow Demon gets beaten down. Hani is hanging out, but doesn't really want to engage. Chen also picks off No Tail down in the bottom lane at the same time. Basically, so a 3-for-1. They wanted Bulldog so badly, they've ended up tossing away several heroes for it. They're going to get a good stun out on Loda. They are going to get it down, but Loda not taking a whole lot of damage from that concoction. It must not be a particularly high level. Dust Pop to make sure they can see Hani coming out. Coddle buys back. The Shadow Shaman wards are down in the lane, but Hani and Era are going to get happily out of range of that. No Tail now charging up the nuke, trying to slow people down. There goes Bulldog. Here comes the bear, the Armlet Bear, raging with purple power. And it's hitting an illusion and then running around and tackling an illusion. But in the meantime, they don't need Ake for this fight. This is so significant because Ake is just taking bottom right now. Now they're forced to port 2 heroes away to try to deal with him, which means Bulldog can just take top. They just don't have what they need to contest any of this right now. Looks like S4 trying to go in, does get purged. Disruption comes out onto the Shadow Shaman as well. Poison, oh, he just barely gets push-sticked away from that Coddle Nuke. And takes the Alchemist Nuke, but is too far out of range thanks to the Fourth Staff to actually take any follow-up from it.
Dire's mid tower won't last much longer.
And now the bear chasing in onto the Shadow Demon. Where's the entangle? What are you doing, bear? Don't you know Bulldog is on the other side? Oh, lasso coming out onto Era. They prevent him from getting. Oh, he takes the back blast damage from his own concoction because the lasso prevents him from throwing it off. They're going in onto Trixie now. Loda picks off Shadow Demon. Oh, Ake now picking off No Tail as well. Trixie, the only one left up here. Hani is all the way on the side of the map, and GG, 17 minutes.
Like a kid in school.
Fnatic admits they just can't win. There's too much push, there's too much mid-game, and they let the PA get so strong that they were going to lose pretty much every fight. They didn't have a huge amount of teamfight power to counter in the mid-game, as I was mentioning, which meant that the all-out, all-in push was just pretty much going to end the game before Fnatic could get any sort of farm. So, alright, you know, my question about you didn't ban Phantom Lancer, is that kind of going to come back and bite you? And all my joy about how good that aggressive tri-lane was? Really meaningless in the end as No Tidehunter defeats Fnatic soundly in Game 1. Gonna have to move on to Game 2. Be good times. Let me kill the stream real quick and I will be right back.